All right, let's talk about Cloudflare's browser insights. So if you are in your Cloudflare dashboard and you visit the Speed tab, you might not see this kind of view immediately. If you go to Browser Insights and Configurations, if you turn this on, what you're going to get is a little piece of JavaScript added to your website via Cloudflare. And in the waterfall, if we're looking at G2 metrics, it looks like this. So it's called beacon.min.js. That's the file. And that is this, it's a small file, see 5.2 kilobytes, not very large. So it adds that one small piece of JavaScript to your request for the page, and that allows Cloudflare to give you some insights as to, this is a help article, I will link this below the video, but it just gives you a little bit of insight into some of the real world testing, real world usage of your website, kind of similar to how Google Search Console now offers some Search Console insights, just to give you an idea of real world field data about your website's performance, not just in your own browser, but in maybe other users' browsers. So you can toggle this on. Again, it does add an extra request. So for any speed junkies out there who are really trying to eliminate as many requests as possible, you may not want this, but it's not slowing anything down. So this, I just pulled up one of these service pages on my Matchless website, and it's loading pretty quickly. On load, 470 milliseconds in this particular test. And I always mention, anytime if I'm sharing a picture of a speed test, and it's like, oh, it's a really fast one. I mean, you could run it 10 times and you might get variation here. So you could probably load it, several times yourself if you tested this page and get a 1 second load time or something. But I'm not going to pretend as if, the page always loads this exact same speed. Here, look how awesome I am. I ain't about that life. All right. So again, you get this little piece of JavaScript and you get some cool info. So browser insights, come back over here. Overview. So the first time that you've toggled on browser insights, you'll have an option to run this little test, and it will basically show you, little snapshot by snapshot, just kind of that visual representation, the different frames per unit of time that might appear without Cloudflare running on your site versus with Cloudflare. And you see in the bottom row of panes here that the website is visible just a touch faster on Cloudflare, 6% faster in this example than it would be without Cloudflare. So kind of that first contentful paint is just visible a little bit sooner, just delivering slightly more favorable user experience, just that something shows up on the page, which is a cool thing. You scroll down and you'll get some, they want to upsell you on, like, hey, if you get one of our pro plans where you can implement what's called Mirage. This is dealing with delivery of images on mobile devices on slow connections. It gives you this estimation of, like, hey, this particular website, this page, so this is testing the home page, would load 80 milliseconds faster on a mobile 3G connection. So kind of showing you a before and after, what you might expect. So that's, in this particular example, you would probably not want to upgrade to a pro plan for that negligible of a change. But there are some cases where maybe a different page might stand to get a much larger benefit from something like that. But just saying, it's not something I, would need to use at this point or anything. And then critical loading time. So this is, you'll recognize some of these metrics as the core web vitals, or some of these metrics that are just real handy to keep tabs on. And you'll see that on a mobile 3G connection, you get a time to first byte of 0.8 seconds, which is great for a mobile connection. And on a wired desktop connection, then things are pretty snappy too. And again, comparisons for mobile and desktop. So I did try to see if this particular script could be delayed using, so now that, and we've talked about this previously in a separate WP Rocket video, but in WP Rocket version 3.9.05, in that major release, the delay JavaScript execution settings changed significantly from version 3.8.8, where you used to have to input your list of resource hints of all the JavaScript files that you wanted WP Rocket to delay until after the page had finished loading. And now in this version 3.9.05, you actually get all of that done automatically for you. And there are some cases where you may still want to see some things excluded if they are not automatically caught by WP Rocket. And so if you wanted to make any manual inclusions now, since that's not an option within WP Rocket, we could go back to our OG plugin, the Flying Scripts plugin. This is the plugin that I used at the time that the original Holy Grail WordPress configuration YouTube video went up in, I think it was June of 2020. This kind of functionality for delaying JavaScript did not exist yet in WP Rocket. This was something that Gijo at WP Speed Matters came out with first. He was the first one that did this, so all credit goes to him for kind of pioneering this little technique. WP Rocket and others have followed suit after that. But this is that plugin. If you ever wanted to try using this, Flying Scripts by WP Speed Matters. There's Gijo. Definitely check out his stuff, you guys. So helpful. His blog is really, really helpful. And he's made just a lot of really cool free and paid. His paid plugin is really great. Flying Press. So anyway, I tried to plug in the resource hint for this script, and whenever, despite refreshing, clearing the cache and everything, upon doing repeat tests, like if I run this page again, the script still loads in the same place that it normally would. And that's more than likely just kind of a forced thing because of the nature of what that script is doing. Again, for Cloudflare to measure what the browser is actually doing, it does have to measure it, before the page finishes loading. So that's why that script doesn't go anywhere. Whenever you add it to Flying Scripts here, see, it still shows up in the waterfall. If it had been successfully delayed until after page load, you wouldn't see it in the waterfall, because that's how when this kind of functionality is working. You don't see it in the waterfall because the JavaScript is actually finishing doing its thing after the page load. And just to demonstrate this in action, if I pull up DevTools for this page and just clear out this network tab. So if I refresh the network, make sure that I'm clicking the right things. So this is just showing all the different requests that have come in for the page altogether. So, prior to the document finishing, oops, let me get my tabs right. Prior to the document finishing, you only see 2 pieces of JavaScript run, before that onload period. And then, why do I keep losing my space? Where was I? Let me go back to my DevTools. So if we filter by JavaScript, then you see, oh, here's a lot of JavaScript that is now run after the page had actually loaded. So again, this just goes to prove this is phenomenal. This is just really cool stuff that all of this JavaScript can be executed after the page is finished loading, because all this stuff has just been gotten out of the way so that a page can load really, really quickly without breaking anything. But you can see the beacon JS file. it loads here. And this is in order in the order that these JavaScript files, these scripts did their thing. It's loading here. So all that JavaScript still is doing its thing. Beacon is still in there, of course, but it is in fact in there before the page finishes loading, and it can't be delayed in this instance. But there may be use cases where you've got something still coming through in the waterfall that you might still try to delay if WP Rocket hasn't automatically called it. This other script, so this is from the EU image optimizer. This is the JavaScript that needs to be, this is another one that needs to load where it is, because this is what's giving me the automatically scaled images and delivering them as WebP on the fly, depending on whether or not the browser is compatible with using WebP. So if that JavaScript were removed, or if it were delayed until after the page had finished loading, then that functionality couldn't do what it needs to do. So again, it needs to load exactly where it is. So that's one that doesn't need to be delayed. It needs to be right there. So it fits within the performance budget. You know, I can tolerate those two pieces of JavaScript loading exactly where they are, because the page is still fast, right? And it's not hurting anything, and you get some cool insight. Again, hence the name, Cloudflare Browser Insights. Get some cool insights into, you know, what the page is doing, what benefits you're getting with your site being on Cloudflare from a performance standpoint. So, and you'll see too under your speed settings, you can just always verify again, like, hey, are these things toggled on if they need to be for your use case, and if not, you know, they can be toggled off. There is speculation out there about, like, you know, is there even any benefit in minimizing HTML? You know, there's a school of thought that says it doesn't really even do anything for you these days, especially with HTTP2 and HTTP3 on the horizon, that minifying your HTML may not really deliver that much benefit, but it's not hurting anything, so I'm leaving it on. And you always want that Brotli compression turned on. If you don't have that on, get it on. It is a more efficient compression than just gzip, which most hosting configurations do support gzip automatically, but Brotli is just a slightly newer thing, so that's cool. And if I haven't shown this already in a previous video up until this point in the course, I do have this. I'm testing this website right now using Cloudflare's APO service, Automatic Platform Optimization, and this is a $5 per month add-on. So you don't have to be on a pro Cloudflare plan, so you can be on a free plan, but add on this $5 per month add-on. And this basically, in effect, accomplishes what the page rules, Cloudflare page rules does. So right now I've got the page rule turned off for cache everything. So if you've watched the Cloudflare video where we look at the page rules for edge caching worldwide, I have that specific rule for cache everything turned off here, because effectively that is being that kind of functionality, caching everything on the edge, is just in a slightly different format being taken care of by the APO service. So maybe we'll have another video on APO in a separate one of these dudes. These dudes being, you know, these videos. I've personified them. I just decided that. So yeah, just wanted to give that shout out. Again, if you don't want the extra request, leave it off. But again, it's not hurting any performance, and you get some cool info out of it. And you could always just toggle it on, see what kind of results you get, and then turn it back off if you want to. All right, everybody's probably getting nauseous with me jumping tabs so much. Cool. All right, that's enough for that.